Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have an exciting introduction video into a game called Bloodloop. You may or may not have heard of this, but it's certainly a massive play to earn game that is up and coming, and in my opinion this is one of the first proper games that I've seen that's coming into fruition and being able to essentially hopefully bridge that web 2/web 3 scenario that we've had. A bit of, not necessarily a dilemma, but I think more and more people are definitely coming into the crypto space to that play to earn mechanism. And from an investor's perspective, I think this game is of great value as well. So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a second. And of course, the gaming industry in general, we did cover that quite a bit in a recent GameFi video that I did about a month or so ago, which I'll leave a link to at the end of this one and also show on the screen in a minute anyway. But yes, I think that this game has absolutely massive potential and is a very exciting game to be playing if you're into these kind of game genres as well. So let's go straight into this one, guys. First and foremost, don't forget, of course, to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and welcome to the channel if you're new. Hopefully you'll find this channel interesting. We cover a load of different topics and projects, of course, across the board really. Not just gaming, of course, supply chain, energy, healthcare, property or real estate. The list goes on. This, by the way, is the GameFi video that I was mentioning. Go check that one out. It's really in depth, and hopefully it helps you all as well with making decisions or thoughts, or at least extra thoughts towards the gaming sphere in the crypto space. So first of all, this is the game, guys, Bloodloop. We'll talk about the tokens and everything in a minute. And why we're so excited about this right now is an opportunity very soon to get hold of the tokens before they get launched on the exchanges. But this is very much a game that kind of has a bit like a Fortnite feel or an overnight watch as well. I'm not going to play too much of this video. Master the Meta. Go check out this this video platform. It's really cool. I think it might be a slightly new channel, but does a fantastic in-depth element to the game itself. But I'm just showing you a couple bits of the gameplay. You can see why this might be appealing to the specific genre of players that like playing these kind of games. But back to the actual website of this, in terms of creating your avatar, being able to obtain tokens and NFTs throughout the game, which you can convert to essentially buy merchandise or additional weaponry, etc. within the game. You've also got the ability here as well in terms of onboarding right now, so you can start getting hold of some airdrops in the near future, just simply registering and getting your username as soon as possible. I did relate to them that they had a bit of a restriction on the username length. I think that's a bit annoying as a gamer myself. I want to be able to use the username that I try and use on all gaming platforms, but it was like one character too many. So I have complained, but that's just me being an absolute gaming nerd. But back to this point here, choosing your role within the war. It's really cool because the games I used to play when I was younger was very much that orientation of choosing a team or picking a team. And it's sometimes along that line you can change teams, or you get involved in a community that wants to drag you into their team. It's got that kind of game guild factor to it, which I think is very important in the web3 space as you're onboarding new users, new members and new gamers. But it's really exciting. I think it'd be interesting to see if they accelerate on these kind of team numbers, etc. Because like you play Call of Duty, you can have like 64 or however many players. It's quite phenomenal in those battle series. But I think with this kind of game, you have to kind of start and build up. But you see here, Clan Wars up to 50 players, so they're already scaling that up, which is fantastic in terms of its development, its progression. So I'm really excited to see that aspect for sure. Of course, what's always interesting and important as well is knowing the team. You can look these guys up on LinkedIn as well. It's really important to do that. Some call it like doxing. You can do your own sort of self-doxing of this kind of thing. But some of these guys are incredible backgrounds. And particularly I was quite interested in Julius's background because obviously Ubisoft in particular. And some of these guys have got some really good studio experience. You can see that there's elements of proper gamers here, proper industrial gaming mindsets, but also these kind of people here where you've got knowledge and experience in the crypto sphere as well, the NFT sphere. And this is exactly what you want. There's a lot of games out there that have people that are like had a fascination for gaming but were more coders and developers and create companies. You got that in reversal. This is one of the first games where I've seen a really good coordination of the different types of people that you need to accelerate a game, to launch a game, and to develop a game further. So I can imagine that this team is going to grow quite significantly over time as this gets more popular and more exciting on its launch. But as I said, go and check out the owners and these people in particular on LinkedIn. Check them out for yourself. But when I was doing my research, I thought it was absolutely fascinating to see the great experience and the great knowledge, and more importantly as well, passion and drive to push this to new levels. So I'll leave a link in the description below. You can use it or not use it, don't really mind. But there's a referral code that I've just stuck in from my username. I wanted to see how these minting aspects work for the airdrop. So do use that if you can. If not, just jump on yourselves. Not a problem. I'm not going to take it personally. But we'll go back to this point here. So Seedify, we did a video the other day for gaming, or a new gaming launch. That's the name of the project. Bloodloop is actually launching as well on Seedify too. So I'm going to go a bit more detail in a second about this, because there is a private sale which you need the Seedify token for, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail because some people asked in a previous video. And there's also the OFE. This is open for everyone. This is the one that could be very interesting for a lot of people, but there's a couple of things that we need to delve into, particularly around the token price based on the existing listing price that is perceived to be occurring in the future. So keep an eye on that in this video as we go through things. This is a really good article to run through if you want like full proper detail about the game in itself, but this I generally think this is going to be very exciting. In terms of the actual game itself, it's being built and powered on Unreal Engine 5, so those out of the gaming sphere or an investor who perhaps aren't particularly around the mindset of what this all kind of means, essentially this is one of the best engines that you could build a game on. I'm really excited about this. I like the fact that we've got destructible elements in here, so we're taking that kind of like all the way back when I was playing Bad Company games or Battlefield games about 12 years ago, and they brought in these I think it was called like Frostbite or something, the ability for games to have this engine built so that anything you like shot out or broke, it smashed to pieces, all that kind of stuff. So there's really cool bits there. And you've got the elements, of course, of new content regularly, which is important as a gamer. You want to keep the enthusiasm going all the way. And of course, this article particularly came out, I believe, 2 days ago. And they've already mentioned here, quite interestingly, surpassed 200,000 signups in over 1 week for Bloodloop's closed beta and play to airdrop campaign. This is really exciting. Sorry, I just blasted my ears out there. I find this quite interesting because that's a huge number of people already. And before I go further into this article here, I just want to pull these bits and pieces of information out there. So at the moment, what we talked about in the GameFi video and gaming videos that we do in general, we talk about two kind of audiences. We talk about, well, actually there's three. There's an investor, there's a gamer, i.e. the person that plays them, or there's people that just like watch the streaming. And I sense like there's a huge esports opportunity here. My background, for those that don't know, I have worked with a lot of esports partnership aspects. I've worked in the gaming sphere. I've worked in technology that helps players as well. And some interesting documentation I put together about 2015, 2016 about esports. People just weren't believing me how big this could be. And even back then, I think it was about 700 million, and that's now approaching the 1 billion mark for people who watch games. This isn't playing games, it's watching games. They believe 1.4 billion by 2025. So you've got a view to earn mechanism here. This is outside of the 200,000 that have, for example, with this game in particular, signed up, plus all the people that will find out about this game in the near future and will, trickle in as the game develops, it progresses. But then you've also got the aspect of gamers in general. Now, I'm not suggesting this number of people are going to play this specific game in this specific genre, but again, to my point, I think when I was doing my statistics back then, I think it was around about 2 or 2.2 billion. So we've already added another billion people to this figure in the last 8 or 9 years. Absolutely staggering. The video game market is worth an estimated £282 billion. And of course, this aspect here is very interesting because we were our partnership aspect, some players in the teams that we were working with were getting paid like 20-30 grand a month, which is absolutely madness, really, if you think about it. But credit to how good they were with their careers, and it's a very short career in most instances. Most of them finish early because of the concentration and the mentality level, and then they go and make their own teams or their own projects. And I think you're going to see more and more of this wave of people that are perhaps coming into the Web3 space right now for gaming are probably more than likely going to be esports previous players that were playing for the last like 6-7 years. They made a load of money. They've not necessarily become bad players. That's just how it is in the gaming sphere when you're at a competitive level and multi-million dollar worth prize funds each time as well. So we've got these really exciting elements of the markets, the opportunity here, and now we've got the game aspect here as well, which is really, really exciting. Loads of information here about all the avatars and things, but I'm just going to scroll all the way down here, just a quick few things here. So first and foremost, in regards to the alpha test, the beta testing, we've got the airdrop campaign, which is pretty much half started now as well. New modes, characters and maps. You've got the early access release in Q3 2024. This shows you how early, by the way, when we talk about the token price and things, how early we are in this opportunity. And a bit more information about the team, and then we get to the actual tokens. The token itself will be BLS, the Bloodloop token for utility. Pretty much traditional things that you would expect in a gaming platform of Web3 tenacity of what you could use a token for. So of course there's the aspect of wagering, tournaments, the esports mechanism, of course, play to earn, view to earn. You've got the aspect of earning tokens as you're playing, being competitive, etc. So there's going to be a massive incentive to play this game, and as an investor there's an incentive to look at this in depth because you see all the big figures and numbers of the potential that could come into this sphere. Think about like Fortnite, think about Overwatch, how powerful and strong those games became with marketing and brand awareness. All it will take is good seed rounds, good opportunities for launching, and a good 6 to 10 months of solidness. This will start being marketed magnificently and into the traditional gaming world as well. So the token type Avalanche, which is fantastic to hear as well. Avalanche is absolutely phenomenal for gaming projects. Supply of 350 million at the moment. The initial market cap 353,000. Very early days, guys. The listing date is to be determined. This will come back to again in a minute. The listing price of 0.85 cents or 8.5 cents, sorry. Initial DEX offering, the private round, this is what we just talked about with Seedify in a minute. We'll loop back into that in a second as well. A listing price here, or a purchase price of 6.8 cents, an allocation of 90,000 USDT, and here are the vesting periods here in terms of the cliff edges and how long it needs to be held for you to be able to then start taking that money out. And then you've got the public round, and you've got open for everyone. This is why I'm doing the video, because I think a lot of people may not have the ability or opportunity to get the Seedify tokens to be able to be part of these lower price token mechanisms or private sales, etc. This one in particular is the one that's very much around the corner as well. But this open for everyone is an opportunity for those that perhaps don't have the knack of launch pads and things, which we will be doing a video on later today. So I'll get that out as soon as possible. But that is the point being here, that when we loop back to these launch pads, this is Seedify, for those that don't know, a gaming launch pad where you can either have NFT offerings or NFT launches or gaming launches as well, or at least the token of it, not necessarily the game launch, but the tokenization of it, the token itself, the utility token. You can see here there's a private sale. Now, first and foremost with Seedify, you need to have at least 500, which is mental, 500 CD or fund tokens, which is called, to be able to participate as a minimum. And that's even at a lottery capacity, which is, in my opinion, is a bit annoying because I think gaming should be very inclusive. But the general aspect of that is it kind of allows specific investors into these remits. There are many other launch pads, but there's always usually specific ones that certain games launch on, either because it's one of the only few game launch pads that survived in the winter market, or at least ones that are currently active and perhaps have the liquidity and the opportunity of customer base to have like a successful launch criteria plan. So you've got this aspect here of the private. So as I said, there's loaded leveling schedules of being able to get involved with that. By the time this video goes out, it's probably a bit too late. I think the registration ends quite soon, but this one is definitely worth getting registered for. So we've got a couple of days, which is why I'm sticking this video out now. I've been following Bloodloop's progress for a few months now, and I've sort of ummed and ahed about shall I or shall I not do a video. But as soon as I started entering that capacity, okay, cool, there's an open for everyone opportunity. However, two aspects here. It is nowhere near as big as the previous target raises, where it's 60,000 USDT. You might think that's a lot of money, but in the gaming sphere, it really isn't. And in the crypto sphere, it's not either. So there's two things to think about here. Is obviously the token price is a lot higher, but then you're maybe questioning, well, hang on a minute. In here, it's suggesting that the potential exchange listing could be around 8.5 cents or around this period. So you kind of sit there and go, well, why would I buy a token at 10 cents when it's going to be launching at potentially 8 cents? Well, the answer to that really is just the massive fluctuation of when games launch in these spheres. And I think that, in my opinion, this is going to fly in the future, whether it's an instant thing or something that grows. Look at all the history of Decentraland. You've got like Sandbox, all of these games that came out in sort of 2020, 2021, had very successful periods. Illuvium, for example, in their staking capacity of how big that token got, went up to like $400 or $500. I'm not saying Bloodloop will do that because it's a bit of a different mechanism of the tokenization aspect, the economy of that, and different supply modules, etc. But there's nothing to say that this couldn't be successful in terms of giant gains opportunities. So this is an open entry. This number I think will go very quick. So my suggestion is, for those that are new to these kind of launch pads, as I said, I will do a video on this, but a very brief aspect of here, you should simply usually have your, first of all, to be signing up, linking your MetaMask, making sure that you have USDT available. I'm just going to open this up because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that this is a BNB related project, possibly in terms of its launch, but I'm definitely registered in that aspect. You will have to do some KYC, so I would suggest getting on that as soon as possible, and then just following instructions once that registration is complete, that then it starts giving you the dates of when you'll be able to jump in and start trying to get an allocation of tokens. So it's really, really interesting on that side of things. Just to show you this one really quickly, if I open it up, you can see that it's not far away from the registration closing. So we kind of missed the boat on that one aspect. But as I said, the open for everyone opportunity is definitely there. And it's going to be quite exciting in my opinion. So just have the USDT available in your accounts if you're looking to try and get involved in this particular opportunity. But yes, without the pun intended, looping back into these points here really is the fact that there's a huge community growth here as well. I think it's personally very, very exciting. And again, you can see here the vesting period aspect. This hopefully tries to stop too much dumping and allows people to maybe save their assets a bit more into the future. And then in that period of time, you get a lot more marketing, a lot more communication around about the game. You're going to get a lot more users coming in to register. So by the time you eventually get those cliff edges finishing and getting your allocation of tokens released, so you can then either sell them or use them in the game properly, that will have significant growth opportunity in the future as well. So in my opinion, I think, as I said, this game is very, very exciting. I'm very interested in the team. I'm very interested in the genre of the game. I just think that this is one of the first finally proper games that is coming out. And there's so much more still to be released and to go through. This has a bit of a rendition of like Rainbow Six, where you're trying to achieve certain credits to get certain characters as they get released. There's loads going for this game, guys. I'm really excited, and it's definitely one I've played like a couple of crypto-based games, and this is like the first one I've actually gone, oh, this actually looks like a proper game, and that gameplay looks sensational. I'm sure you'll agree. You can just tell that an Unreal Engine is being used. It's not like one of those crappy pixelated games or nonsense games. This is legit and professionally built games. A lot of thought and process has gone into this for sure. But again, keep an eye on the Bloodloop's social media channels. I don't pay too much attention to the follower numbers. I know sometimes profiles use like bots to increase their numbers, etc. But saying that, their engagement has been quite good on a lot of the posts they're putting out there. So that's why I'm quite excited about this game. So keep that date in mind, guys. If you want to do any more research, I highly suggest doing so. I just wanted to bring this video to your attention so you're a bit more aware of that this game has an availability, and there was an availability as well of purchasing or getting hold of those tokens before proper launches on exchanges, etc. There's still a couple of days left. I'm getting this video out today. Let's see what happens, guys, but I'm absolutely stoked for this one. Let me know in the comments below if you heard of this game before, or if you're excited, and also let me know of any other games that you want me to cover as well that are on the verge of launching. There's a couple of projects that I'm trying to get out in the next couple of days with a load of notice in terms of their launch capability, and getting involved at early stages, as well as all the other topics and projects that we cover, of course, on the channel. But yes, guys, it's an exciting one for me, in my opinion. I think this is a really, really good opportunity. Do your own research. Obviously, it's not financial advice, but as a gamer and certainly someone in the crypto sphere and knowing a lot of people in the gaming industry, this one is ticking all the boxes in my head right now. So, as I said, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next introduction gaming video. Take care. Bye-bye.